Hi everyone. So today I want to introduce one of the tools that I've been working lately. It's called the Advanced Deal Removal. So it's basically an advanced version of the deal removal tool that we have in Resolve. So the idea is for us to have, I will say, all, if not most of the abilities that commercial film restoration tools have, like the ability to do recovery or to easily do recovery and the ability to invert the matte to only apply the effect to the painting. Now, I've been trying to make this work in the color page. Technically, it can load. Well, I don't have it loaded here, but technically it can load. The problem is that Resolve doesn't expose paint controls on the color page. So until Resolve fixes that limitation or I create an OpenFX version of this tool, we cannot do this on the color page nor the edit page. In order to use the advanced deal removal tool, we need to use it as a macro on the Fusion page. So first, in order to show you what the advanced deal removal tool, let's go to one of the examples that we have here. Okay, it's a basic movie that we have here. It's a positive print, quite dirty, seems to be all full of dust and the like. So the normal tool that is called deal removal, I think, automatic deal removal, is not that it doesn't work, okay, but the problem is that obviously everybody that has used this tool before, they know the amount of artifacts that it can create. People have a lot of issues. They had a lot of ideas during the times on how to contain these issues. They created shapes, they created masks, and one of the most creative uses that I've seen is the use of a magic mask. But that's something that you only can do on the latest version of Resolve, but it's another way to use it. But it's basically that. You can do shapes, you can do masks, and all that jazz. So what's the issue? You can see here what the effect is doing to a degree, but it's not really a good indication of how the image is being combined. So when I developed Advanced Deal Removal, I tried to give it all, if not most, the capabilities of a normal restoration tool. So let's go to it. So you install this as a macro. Instructions are on the GitHub page. Then you have Advanced Deal Removal. So it comes in two versions. One is the normal version and one is the Cineon version. If you have linear footage, Rec 709 footage, or footage that is already looking with a good enough contrast and a good enough saturation, then use the normal version. If you have footage that is Cineon log encoded or has that logarithmic low saturation, low contrast look, then use the Cineon version. In this case, this footage looks normal, so I'm going to use the linear version. Okay, so when you open Advanced Deal Removal, by default, you will get the difference view. So the difference view is basically an advanced version of the repair mask. So let me see you. This is the repair mask. Obviously, you can see what it's doing and what it's not. And on the difference view, we get this kind of A minus B difference that quickly tells us what kind of damage we have done to the footage. And we can increase or decrease the amount of difference, so you can clearly see. So this is one of the things that I wanted to do the most, because most of the time, if you don't really see what is missing, it's really difficult for us to do a proper restoration. Now, obviously, when you're trying to do restoration in Resolve, there is a couple of caveats. So usually you are doing some sort of low cost or affordable restoration. Resolve, even though it has a lot of the revival tools from DaVinci Resolve, is not really what I would call a professional restoration tool. I mean, it's widely used in the restoration world for color, finishing, and conforming. But for the restoration part, it's kind of iffy because the tools are not really that comfortable like the ones that you find on Diamond or Phoenix. Obviously, the thing that Resolve has, and obviously you're going to be, I suppose, aware of this, is that, I mean, I wouldn't call it cheap because that's assuming that everybody can buy software that is $300, but it's affordable for the kind of work that it can do, because the amount of value that you get for those $300, I think it's a lot. And also we have the free version. Now, the free version can work for some restoration workflows to a degree. I want to say yes, and I tried my best to do it to work with the free version, but it doesn't really work to the degree that somebody would call useful. Maybe in the future I can make some tools that will work either in the free or the studio version. So that's something to see. But at the moment, advanced dip removal tool, same as the faded balancer DCTL that I made, only work on the studio version of Resolve. Sorry for that. Well, let's continue. So you can see, we can clearly see what is happening here. Now, if you zoom in into the advanced dip removal tool, we have an extra input here. And if you hover onto it, it says mask paint or magic mask. So we can indeed add a mask paint here and just attach it to the green input, and now we can magically paint back anything and all artifacts that we may have created with the dip removal tool. Obviously, you as well have all the settings for the dip removal. I already pre-configured some settings that are aggressive enough to deal with most dirt, but are not that far that it's gonna create artifacts every single frame. Something doable. That's what I want to say. So people in archives or small institutions can do this and achieve a really good quality restoration without generating artifacts, because that's the main issue. I mean, when people were doing this kind of work with the automatic dip removal in Resolve, they were getting a lot of artifacts, and I know it because I've seen it. I've seen it on presentations, I've seen it on festivals, I've seen it in a lot of places, so I know it happens. Let's say we finish this shot, so now we're ready, we go back to RGB, and that's it, right? Now, there is a couple of strands here and there, a couple of missing spots that we didn't cover, but we can recover those manually. That's when I want to show you the second ability that advanced dip removal has. Well, it has like 4 abilities, but I'm going to show you the 2 main ones. So I'm going to add another advanced dip removal tool, and I'm going to add another mask paint. And now I'm going to click on the recovery Spanish dip removal. So when we are in Spanish dip removal, that means that the effect is not being applied at all, but it's only gonna be applied where we do the painting. So if I paint here, we are in the same settings as before, so I need to increase the settings here. So let me be a bit more aggressive. Let me paint here first. Okay, I'm gonna paint here, and then let me be more aggressive with the cleaning. Maybe something like this. And you can see, I haven't affected other parts of the pictures. I only affected that single stroke because I'm now using only the alpha of the paintings as the input for the effect. So this is what I call the Spanish version. It works again for everything. Now, it may be a bit too heavy for some machines having 2 effects in a row. So sometimes you may need to do one or the other, but the possibilities are here. So let's say you want to do a shot and you want to avoid as many artifacts as possible. So you do this Spanish version and it should give you good enough results. Let me check if I need to increase a bit more of the settings to make this work. Maybe if I increase it here, yeah, I'm cleaning up a bit more. So the good thing about the Spanish version is that you can go all the way. It doesn't really matter because we are not going to introduce any artifacts because we are cleaning. We are cleaning only what we are painting. So most of it is gone. Let me keep playing. Yeah. we may need to either cache or render the previous version in order for us to do the second node. But most of the time, you only need to do one of these. Now, let me show you another option that we have here in the advanced tear removal tool. Stop this. And let me show you the other option that we have. Let me choose another shot. So let me choose this shot. Okay, this is quite dirty, right? And let's say I want to clean this, but I don't have a lot of time. So this is something only for access. I want to create like a quick job, but I don't want to like being all hands-on with the result. So if again we add the advanced tear removal tool here, we have another option, the one that says motion mask. So a motion mask is basically a combination of two optical flow effects that are getting the forward vectors and the backward vectors, trying to create a mask where both of them are 1 or close to 1. So meaning that anything that is moving is going to get close to 0, and anything that is static is going to get close to 1. So everything that is going to be close to 1 is going to be affected by the advanced tear removal more, and obviously anything that is close to 0 is going to be affected by the advanced tear removal less. So that's why we get like an automatic way for us to avoid any major issues, especially with movement. Let's see the result, and we can clearly see what is happening here as well. If I show you the difference view, so it's trying to respect all of the parts that have a lot of motion, and all of the parts that are motionless are getting the full effect. So obviously it's not going to be perfect. The motion mask still needs a lot of refinement, but let's say you want to do something quick, but you want to avoid artifacts. I think this is the best way to go. Obviously it's not going to be squeaky clean, but it's going to be clean enough, and the parts with a lot of motion are going to be respected, or at least they're going to be more safe. I wouldn't say 100% the amount of safety that the motion mask provides, but it's at least it's a way for us to keep some sort of like timing in the amount of recovery that we need to do. So let me show you the final example. Maybe we can compare the two versions side by side. Let me do this here. Okay, let me put the original on top and the one below. And we can hit playback. Let me do a cache. Now to proxy and proxy, maybe. So it's getting rid, I will say, of most of the random dust. Obviously, the giant scratches are still there, but most of the random dust that were in the corners, especially in the walls, I think it's gone, or mostly gone. So again, this is a better starting place, and we have introduced little to no artifacts because we are using the motion mask. And also, if you want to increase the aggressiveness of the motion mask, we have this setting here where you can change the safety of the motion mask in order to be either like completely safe in 10 or completely aggressive. If you go to 1, more things are going to come through the motion mask. If you go to 10, less things are going to come through to the motion mask, to the point that it's basically doing nothing. Obviously, again, this is a work in progress. Sometime in the future, I may have a better version of the motion mask, but at the moment, I think it's working well enough for most people to be using it, especially for processing a lot of footage that obviously you don't have enough time to do it, but you want to keep it safe. Let's see how it renders so we can see the result. Yeah, it's quite noticeable, right? The difference between the bottom and the top. So, I mean, with these two modes of working, I think we all should be able to get better results out of our restoration in Resolve. I wouldn't call it a professional level restoration, but I would call it something that, at least for archival or access kind of work, is totally doable. As a last step, I want to show you how the Cineon version works. So for the Cineon version, obviously we are expecting a Cineon type of footage, low contrast, low saturation, and it should work basically the same. So advanced removal, but it has some different settings, because before doing any effect, it's gonna do a conversion from log to linear and then from linear to log. If you see the final result, it's not changing anything about the color. So this is the input and this is the output. And if we compare them, they're basically the same color. So we haven't changed anything about colors. Even though it started as Cineon, it's gonna end as Cineon. So there is nothing to worry about that. But doing this kind of log to linear conversion really helps the algorithm, especially the automatic dirt removal algorithm, to properly pick up what is and what isn't dirt or dust. So you may find that sometimes, well, depending on the footage as well, but most of the time linear should work okay. But if you find that in log footage you're getting a lot of issues, then use the Cineon version. And obviously you can change anything that you have here. You have the difference view. Now the difference view by default is a bit more aggressive because it's a bit harder to see in linear the difference between the processed and the unprocessed version. So it starts way higher. And when it goes to 1, you get this kind of weird version instead of pure black like in the other one. So it's something to be aware of. But equally, you can still use both of them. Now, I'm happy to hear how this is working for you. Let me know if you have any more questions, any suggestions. You know, GitHub is available for everybody. This is free. I'm happy to keep continuing building tools for the restoration community, and hope to see you in the next workshop, whatever that is. Bye bye.